In this video, I'm going to show you how to take your weaving off the loom. So let's get started. You're going to need your loom with your finished piece of weaving on it and a crochet hook. That's this right here. And now you get to use the little knob in the front that we talked about before when we were starting out. Instead of turning it clockwise to make the space here, you're going to turn it counterclockwise, and what that does is it starts to move this bar closer to the red bar, and when you do that it will loosen up your strings, your warp strings. Those are the blue ones on mine, and it'll make it so that you can get it off of the loom. So once you've got it screwed all the way in and these two bars are touching, then you need to stop turning it. Please don't remove the red knob, because if you kept turning it, it would go ahead and remove it, and we don't want to do that. Then you can go ahead and take off the tape. Save the one with your name in case you need to mark your weaving so we can find out whose it is. Remove both pieces of tape, and then we'll start up at this end and carefully pull it out of the little teeth back here. Now they're nice and loose and they should come right out. You can use the crochet hook too if you feel like that helps you. And I did notice that like your standard yarn, this type, was actually a little bit too fat and a little bit too woolly. So next time I would use like a smoother, and we can also pull it out right here like this. I would use a smoother yarn and maybe a thinner yarn to do the warp instead of what I chose. And I can lift out this whole thing, hopefully, carefully. Just make sure that you do it in a way that does not damage your work, because you worked so hard on it. And move the loom out of the way. And again, this was the FAO Schwartz loom, and they're on Amazon for about $20 if you'd like to have your own. Now I'm going to finish off my weaving, and the way to do that, you've got all these little loops down here. You're going to take your little crochet hook, you put it in through the first one, through the first loop. You're going to grab the next loop, pull that next loop through the first loop. Same thing on the next one. Grab the next loop, pull it through the one that's already on the hook. And whenever you do that, whenever you pull it through, it becomes the one that's on the hook. Same thing over and over until you get to the end. This is actually called crocheting, and it's a totally different type of fiber art that we might add to the fiber art studio at some point. When you get to the end, you can take that string, pull it through, and keep the little loop on there, pull it through again, tighten it, and that'll make a nice little knot to finish it off. Now all these strings hanging out here on the back, we will hide those in just a moment, but first we need to do something with our the warp strings on this end. So there's a couple things that you could do with them. You might want to put a stick through them, like I did on this one, and then you can turn it into a wall hanging. Or if you need like a gift for someone, maybe Mother's Day, because Mother's Day is coming up, you could turn it into a pot holder, or who knows, maybe your mom would rather have the wall hanging. And to turn it into a pot holder, I would just knot these and then snip it off, and I'll show you how to do that right now. You take the first loop, and don't do your little bit of weaving that's left if you have a little bit that's left there. Take the first loop, tie a knot, keep that knot loose so that you can move it down as close as you can get it to the weaving. You want it to be kind of nice and snug down next to the weaving. Then the next loop, same thing. To knot it, you can just put it back around a finger, wrap it around the finger, pull the finger out, push it through the hole, move it all the way back down so it's snug. And the next loop. And I'm trying to keep these woven in so they don't escape. Around, pull the finger out, through the hole. And just keep going. So now you're going to have a lot of strings hanging off on the back of your project, and that's okay. The way to deal with those is you'll want to use one of the embroidery needles, the colored ones that are plastic, and you just put each one through the needle and then pick a place on your weaving, like right next to where it comes out, and go up and weave it under, over, alongside one of the warp strings, and then it'll just be hidden inside of there, and you could just snip off whatever part comes out. Just remember not to cut any of the strings that are woven this direction. You don't want to cut any of your warp or weft strings on there. And once you have finished it off and tidied it up, you could choose what to do with all your loops up here. Like I said before, you could put a stick through them and make a wall hanging. You could just snip them off so that they're little tassels. You could feed them back through to hide them completely. And this would make a great little pot holder like that. Or you could even fold it over and stitch it here and here and have kind of a long pouch. You could even fold it the other way if you wanted to show all your stripes. There's a lot that you can do with these. So it's up to you how you want to finish your woven piece. Some people just like to keep it like that and call it kind of a little blanket for a doll or something like that. It's up to you.